Okay, welcome back to another Ableton Live workflow hack. Today we're going to be taking a look at Ableton Live's arrangement window, and particularly we're going to look at some key mapping tricks that I think are helpful. Now, the example I've set up here, I have a red track that's labeled reference. This is a fully mixed mastered audio track song that I'm going to be using as a reference track to reference the arrangement for sort of this faux arrangement I've got going on down here, where I've got three different instrument parts: a kick, some percussion, and a bass line. And so the example here is I'm going to use this track to reference the arrangement. This is something I often do in my production. And a lot of times in order to do that, what I'll do is I'll listen through my reference track and I'll set these locator markers. We can set them by right-clicking or control-clicking up at the top of the arrangement, just above the topmost audio track. You can right-click or control-click again. You'll get a context menu that says Add Locator. You can also place this orange insert marker on the arrangement and then press this Set button here to set a locator marker. Now, I'm going to do that, but with a keystroke. And we can do that very easily if we use the key mapping feature. So I'm going to click Key up here. This is going to turn on key mapping mode, which is very similar to MIDI mapping mode, where we can MIDI map parameters in Live to keys, buttons, or faders on a MIDI controller. But the key mapping mode allows us to do this with our computer keyboard. So what I'm going to do here is use a couple of different punctuation keys that I never really use when using Live to map to some functions. So this first function here, let's turn on key map mode. Let's map this Set button. So I'm going to click on it, and then let's use the, what's a punctuation key? We don't really use that much. Maybe we'll use the colon key to map to the Set button there. So now what's going to happen is, let's solo the reference track for a moment. Just listen through part of it. Now what I can do is, as the song is playing, let me perhaps skip ahead a little bit here. As the song is playing, I can use the colon key to just set a locator marker in real time. I'm just going to press the colon key, get colon key happy here. And you can see how I can just real time drop in new locator markers. Now realistically, I'd probably be going through the song in various sections, so I can tell that something different is happening here in the arrangement of this song. So we'll drop the locator in right there. I've got a breakdown that starts, for example. So now I can click on the locator, I can press Command or Control R to rename it, and we will call this breakdown, for example. And maybe I'll set a locator. I forgot to do this. We'll set one right at the beginning. I'll just press the colon key. We'll call this one intro. And maybe this is intro part 2, for example. Intro P2 there. And so again, we can go through the song, and as we notice these new phrases or these new sections of the song start up, we can just use a keystroke to drop in a new locator marker and sort of sketch out the arrangement. Now the idea is then I would go down to my arrangement down here, the song I'm actually working on, and I could sort of copy or mimic what's going on in my reference tracks arrangement. Now another thing I'll need to have access to, and I can do this again easily by key mapping, is I want to be able to solo this quickly, because I don't necessarily want to hear, like for example, if we go here, now I'm hearing the reference track and all of the stuff in my arrangement all piled on top of each other. I generally want to A-B between the reference and between everything else in the arrangement. So what I'll often do is I'll mute the reference track, and then we'll use key mapping again. Let's pick another punctuation key, maybe the tilde key. I'll click the solo button just on the reference track and we'll key map that. Now this is going to allow me to use that one key on my keyboard to just quickly A-B. I can solo the reference and then I can go back to everything else playing. Solo reference, my arrangement playing. Cool. And then the last trick I want to show you in regards to key mapping in the arrangement view here is these two buttons to the left and right of the Set button. These will allow us to jump from locator marker or to the very beginning or very end of the arrangement. And I think these are really handy to have mapped just in terms of navigating through your arrangement, whether you're using a reference track or not. These can be helpful. So let's go to key mapping again. And for these, I'm going to use the left and right bracket keys. So we'll click on the left arrow and map that to the left bracket, right arrow, map it to the right bracket. And now with just a couple of key presses, I can skip around through my arrangement really easily, and I can solo the reference track, so I only hear that, and it's muted instantaneously when I want to hear everything else. And then I can also set new locator markers very easily as the arrangement's playing. So, one last thing before we wrap it up. If I go to key map mode and we open up the browser, you'll notice that it shows a list of all of our key mappings. So if you accidentally map something or you want to change a mapping, you can delete it from here and remap it. This is the same thing with MIDI map mode as well. It'll click on MIDI, it'll show you a list of any MIDI mappings. But just a reminder there if you do want to change any of your key mappings. So again, hopefully this one has helped and your arrangement workflow is able to enhance by tenfold or maybe even more than that. So enjoy this one, take care, until next time.